Welcome to the BankFirst Ranger Hour. Super Talk Mississippi 93.7 Spotlight on Northwest Community College. And you can listen to our live stream at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the BankFirst Ranger Hour. Now, here's your host, Gary Darby.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen of North Mississippi. Welcome to an hour of discussion on Northwest Community College. As you heard the big voice say prior to it, the BankFirst Ranger Hour. It comes up now, and then we'll get you into middays with Gerard, things like that, as the rest of the day goes on with Mr. Azar and Rebecca, and then the Sports Talk Mississippi guys. Richard comes back with the crew after hosting the Gallo program. Great job by him, Dr. Michael Heindel of Northwest Community College on that show. And so we will extend the conversation of NWCC a little bit today by bringing, first of all, Beth Little into the discussion. Beth spent some time at Northwest before moving to the Mississippi Community College Board in Jackson. We're going to talk adult education because it is adult education and high school equivalency diploma week. So it's a little bit of everything. Literacy week's going on, family literacy week. A lot of things to get into and discuss with Beth in that regard, as far as Northwest Community College in adult education, the state of Mississippi in adult education. And then we take a break and we will get into sports. Golf is back at NWCC. You know, the championship teams that have been on in football and basketball and baseball and soccer and everywhere else around the board. And now it is up to Coach Ryan Brickley, who has developed the first ever women's golf program and brought men's golf back to NWCC. Coach Brickley has been on with us right after getting the job and an opportunity to build this team. They played their first match. It was an NWCC led event. They got to host the event at Tunica National. So we will chat a little bit about the fall preview. Several teams in Mississippi playing the last couple of days there at Tunica National. So we'll speak with Coach on the golf program, take that final break, and then we'll come back. The date is out for the soiree, the big fundraiser for the foundation at Northwest. We'll tell you the day so you can go ahead and put it in your calendar, raising money for scholarships for students at NWCC. So we will get that information to you. They play football tonight. Women's soccer still number one. We've got award-winning volleyball players. We'll catch you up on all the rest of the sports and other stories at the back end of the show. But now, today, Beth Little is next. Then it is Ryan Brickley, the golf coach at NWCC. We'll talk adult education, though, to start the program. Thanks for being with us. However it is, I do have a person that did text message in, and I appreciate that, letting me know that all lanes westbound on I-22 near the Holly Springs exit is closed. There's an overturned semi-truck blocking the roadways there. I may have some more details on that a little bit later on. Drive safe, people.
This hour is everything Northwest. Your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College and powered by BankFirst. Thanks for joining us on the BankFirst Ranger Hour. Join the conversation now by texting 662-426-1093.
Please do that anytime this show or any show is going on. You can text in at 662-426-1093. And if you missed any of this conversation today, it'll be in podcast form a little bit later on. Anywhere you go and find your podcast, you'll be able to find the BankFirst Ranger Hour. Golf discussion is coming up next, but now the Director of Adult Education and HSED, which is High School Equivalency Diploma, it's Beth Little. Did I get that right, Beth?
Yes, you did. That was perfect, Gary. Thank you.
Excellent. Good morning. I hope things are going well for you in the capital city.
Everything is going great. It's wonderful. It's a great week. As you know, we're celebrating Adult Education and Family Literacy Week. And I got to jumpstart that at Northwest this Monday, so I'm having a fantastic week so far.
Excellent. You were at Northwest, correct? Fill us in a little bit, Beth, if you don't mind, when you were at NWCC and what you were doing there at the college.
Sure, I will. I was there Monday morning to kick off Adult Education and Family Literacy Week in Mississippi. Well, it's nationwide. It's not just in Mississippi. And, Gary, what that is, it's just a week-long celebration where we raise awareness of what adult education and literacy and the importance of adult education and literacy. And so I started at Northwest, and we're just really, I was so blessed and honored to be there because, as you know, maybe that's where I started my adult education journey back in 2009. And so Dr. Heindel and some of the senior staff there at the college came and spoke to the students and just really offered some great encouraging words to them on continuing the efforts to earn their diploma, because our students face so many barriers in adult education that most people don't realize, that whether it's transportation, child care needs. And so a lot of times it's easy for them to begin and then just stop out. We call it stop out, not drop out, because we try to get them back in, but just really homing in on the importance of not giving up to keep pursuing that dream and furthering their education, because it's not only benefiting them, but it's benefiting their family and sometimes generations to come. And so I got to visit with a lot of the students while I was there, and I just, I want to give a plug to Northwest. I feel like the adult education staff there does a great job of transitioning the students to the next step, because a lot of people think of us as just a GED program where you come enroll, you earn your diploma, and then you just leave and you're on your own. And we really take that an extra step and make sure that once they earn that diploma, that they put it to use. And they're finding training, whether that's CTE, workforce, or in the academic route. And so they do an excellent job. Every student that I talked to that day had a future plan. Many of them in the room were wanting to go into welding, some of them precision manufacturing. And so just really getting to see firsthand and be with the students means so much, and the support that Northwest provides. And it's like I told the students that day, adult education is just a part of Northwest. But if you look around the room at all of the people that were there, from Dr. Heindel, Dr. Domas, Dr. Dale, Dwayne Casey, and then Rochelle Washington wasn't there, but she does a great job of helping us as well. All of the teachers, and they are a family. It's not just, people are not isolated there. And that's one of the things that I think is so beautiful about Northwest and working with Northwest, is being part of that family. I still feel like I'm part of that family. And just a little back history, I started there, believe it or not, in 2009 as a volunteer. That was back when Guy Purdy was still the director.
Yes.
And just loved the program. Within 6 months, I was working part-time, then full-time. So I've kind of probably had every position there could be, a transition specialist, a teacher, a lead teacher, and it all began at Northwest. So I'm just really thankful for that opportunity there. And that's what actually led me to the state office and becoming the state director. And I was telling Dr. Heindel last week, I don't do the work. It's your people, the people on the ground working with these students every day. And so just it gives us an opportunity to showcase what we do in adult education, the importance of it, and it's life-changing. A lot of times the students that we work with, their families, they've never been to college. So a lot of our students are first-generation college students and their families, and that's really life-changing. And we also realize that a lot of them are single parents or parents of children, and so there's a direct correlation between the education of a parent and the education outcomes of students in K-12. And so we really take that seriously. That's one of the things we're pushing this year, is trying to get students, parents that did not receive their diploma into our programs, and been very successful so far at that. That's one of our initiatives I'm really excited about. So just a great kickoff to the week. And then I've noticed on social media, Northwest does an excellent job at promoting what they do. There's been, I think I saw the mayor of Bruce visited the class in Bruce and the students, which is wonderful. I've seen some people having, their mayors issue proclamations. recognizing that it's Adult Education and Family Literacy Week, and so that's what this week is all about, just raising the awareness and the importance of what it is that we do, because there's still communities that have no idea that there's help and assistance out there if they don't have a diploma. So I was thrilled to kick it off at where I started my stint in adult education and kind of where I grew the passion for loving this profession and these students.
Because of doing this show and actually working at Northwest, very familiar with their adult learning programs from all times. And I may be wrong. I don't know, because I'm not around the Northeast, the Itawambas, or down south the Gulf Coast. But it seems to me that Dr. Heindel, Northwest, in general, and presidents before, have really embraced this, been ahead of the curve, so to speak. And now that we're seeing the expansion of the concourse in Batesville, and they're doing so many things with the CTE, and they're doing these things for adult education, it seems to me Northwest is ahead of the pack. I know you're the director of the whole state, and you can lead us into what some of the rest of the state is doing, what you guys are doing as well. But to me, it seems like Northwest is really embraced, and that may be why they have some of the highest enrollment in the state of Mississippi.
That's right. I tell you, there are so many excellent resources in the northwest part of Mississippi, and you're right, that concourse, I stopped by there on my way back to Jackson and visited with Shannon Long, and that facility is just amazing, and there's very few like that we have in the community college setting where adult education is present and can literally, our students could be enrolled in adult education, working on their high school diploma, earning that diploma, and walk down the hall and receive workforce training that leads to jobs in that area. So it's just a wonderful setup, and I know there's a lot of great things going on the other campuses as well that will lead to opportunities like that for our students. But yes, Northwest is one of the colleges that has one of the highest enrollments in the state. I think they serve around between 800 and 1,000 students every year. And I'll tell you this too, I've never seen a program that can turn out high school equivalency diplomas as fast as Northwest does. I think, and I think another misconception people have too is that all of our students that we serve are like 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, high school age or junior high age students. No. I mean, the grade equivalency, not their age. Our students range from being totally can't read, illiterate, to, yes, some of them are senior grade equivalency, but the average reader in adult ed that we serve is at 6th grade level. I was looking at some statistics just the other day with Jennifer Williams, the director there, and out of the students that come into the program, that enroll in the program, at the 8th grade equivalency and up, 73% of those students at Northwest earn their diploma in less than a year.
Wow.
And that's a pretty high statistic. It may not sound like it to some people. That is a huge statistic. And I think that's one of the largest statistics as far as turning out 8th graders, equivalency students through seniors in our state as far as at our community colleges. So I'm so proud of the work that they do there. They really do an excellent job of fast-tracking these students, and they don't want to hold them back. They want to get them in, assess them, see exactly where their needs are. I mean, there's no, most people don't like math. Most of our students, that's the subject they dislike the most. And so nobody wants to sit through a geometry class if you master geometry. So they really pinpoint what the students' needs are, and then they focus on those areas with the students. And so I think that's one of the ways that they are able to be so successful at getting these students in and out, and then on a track at Northwest to pursuing their education. And I really commend Jennifer and her team there because they do a great job at that.
Beth, I know we know what people think of Mississippi and its education, and they think what they think. I know that Mississippi is doing a great job. I just gave yesterday, in fact, our high schools that are in this area, what grades they just got from, the Department of Education here in Mississippi and where that is moving. But yet our listeners may not realize that there are people, we know what we're growing up with too, but you just mentioned They can't read at all, that may be on a sixth grade level. Or I don't know of many people that are maybe even listening to this program that have transportation problems, right? We're multiple car owners. We are, able to get where we want, when we want, do what we need to do, when we need to do it. And yet there's so many people that are in this little circle where this radio station goes of 11 counties alone. You're dealing with all 82, where the numbers probably, if we were to throw them at the people, are staggering, and they wouldn't really recognize that many people in the state of Mississippi truthfully need the help.
You're exactly right. That's so right. And, I think, one of the things for your listeners I'd like for them to know is there is assistance. And I think for so long there's been this, misconception of, I don't have transportation, so I can't go, and that's my roadblock, and I'm stopping right there. And Northwest and all adult education programs in the state are able to assist students with transportation and child care. So I don't want that to be a barrier for students or potential students that are wanting to enroll in the program. Now, I'm not saying we can buy them a car, but there's assistance out there readily available. We have some great partners. Second Chance in Oxford, Zach Scruggs and his family and team there have offered multiple grants to adult education programs across the state where they will help with transportation assistance or child care assistance. We also work with the Department of Human Services. They as well will assist with those needs. And there's a lot of other barriers that go into this. A lot of our students will come and say, hey, I need my diploma to keep my job. But I'm working full-time, and I have 5 children at home, and I'm married. So there's a lot more than just transportation sometime in child care. People need to be able to feed their families. And we have the resources to be able to partner with other agencies directly to assist them with that, or we can connect them with agencies within your community in Northwest Mississippi to receive those benefits, whatever it may be, to keep them successful and able to continue to come into our programs. And literacy, has been a problem nationwide, and it still is and will be. I definitely feel like I'm seeing some changes, some good changes, positive changes. But I don't think, I can remember one time when I was in the Hernando location, I had a student that walked in, a really nice dressed gentleman. He drove a Escalade truck, very well spoken, and he worked in Tunica at one of the casinos, and he said, I'm up for a really great promotion, but I need my GED. And I said, you're in the right place. We can help you with that. He could not read. He could not read. He had just managed to go through life and acclimate to his surroundings and become a successful worker. Talking to him, you would never know that this gentleman could not read. And so we were able to help him go from not being able to read to earning his diploma. It took a little time, but they held that position for him, and he did get that promotion. And so, not always what you see is what the way things are. And you can't always read the students that we serve. And, another misconception is, our students are just, they got into trouble. That's why they left school. That is generally about maybe 5 to 10% of the cases that we see as far as students enrolling. It could be they were sick. A lot of our students had to drop out because they're taking care of family members, and they just don't have the support that they need. And one of the things that I'm really proud of in our state here in Mississippi is the WIOA plan and our WIOA state plan. And I don't know how much you are aware of that or know of that. And it's kind of on the back, behind the scenes. It's like the Wizard of Oz, With that state plan, it basically forced us to, which is a great thing, work with our community partners and our core partners in the state. And so there's generally not a barrier that a student has in adult education when they come to us that we can't alleviate or provide assistance to them for that will enable them to continue coming to our programs. And so I think that's one of the biggest things I'm trying to get out this week is let us help. We want to help. We have the resources to help. We have the connections, partnerships. But not only that, it takes great leadership. It takes great leadership to support this. And at Northwest, you have excellent leadership with Dr. Heindel, Dwayne Casey, Dr. Domas. I mean, they have just, Dr. Domas was actually in adult education at one time. I don't know if many people know that. And honestly, I would say half of our college presidents in the state, close to half, if not half, have had either they've worked in adult education or they have a family member, distant family member, cousin, somebody that has gone through adult education and earned their GED or high school equivalency diploma in the past. And I think that is why we have such great support in Mississippi as far as with our college presidents.
Last thing, and we'll let you go. Are there other initiatives or things we need to bring to light in your final message to the people here listening to the program?
Yes. Thank you. One of our initiatives that we are really proud of, we have kind of several going on right now, but one is our Smart Start, and it's really kind of the capstone to our adult education programs, and that is where students will enroll, and we help them with employability skills. And one of the things that we hear from employers across the state all the time is a high school diploma is great, a college diploma, BS, whether it's AAS, whatever that is wonderful. But when employees come to work for us, they need to be able to communicate. They need to know how to talk to their bosses. They need to know how to work as a team. They need to be dependable. And so these are all things that we cover in our Smart Start course. In that course, we also help students with identifying what it is that they want to do. I don't know about you, Gary, but when I graduated high school, my thought process was, hey, I'm good in math, I'm going to go into accounting. And that was a terrible thought process. A great profession. I made really good money in accounting, but I did not like it. I never really liked it. And so we really do a good job at doing what we call an career interest survey with our students. Let's identify what it is that you like. Let's identify what it is that you'd be good at. And then let's look in the community and see what jobs in that area are available and what steps you need to take to get there. So Smart Start is, like I said, the capstone of what we do. And then our My Best initiative, the easiest way I can explain this is it's basically like dual enrollment for adult ed students. So students can enroll in adult education and work towards their high school diploma while enrolling in college as well. So that could be CTE, it could be workforce, it could be the academic route. And I'm going to tell you, when you have a student that comes from a home of very little support, if they have parents, let's say they never graduate from college, not college, high school, so they never experienced college. When a student like that comes through that door, and it's difficult for them to walk through that door and say, hey, I'm here, I need help, I need to earn my diploma, I want to do better, I want to break this cycle of poverty that my family's been living in the past 2 generations. And within 6 months, they're not only enrolled in adult education, working towards earning that diploma, but they're also enrolled in college, and it's free. There is no cost. That is life-changing. That is so life-changing. And there's lots of success stories I could share with you another day, but, in the meantime, if anybody wants to learn more about what it is that we do, not only at Northwest but across the state, they can go to our website. It's skillupmississippi.com and see all the different initiatives there. One of the things I love about the site, there's an interactive map, so regardless of wherever you live in the state, you can click on your county, and it will pop up out to the side and tell you the director's name there, the address, phone number, contact information. So we try to make it as easy as we can for everyone to learn about our program. And I just thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share a little more about what it is that we do in adult education, because it's so crucial in our economy. And one more plug-in.
Sure.
There's about 320,000 Mississippians that do not have a high school diploma. 320,000. We've got a lot of work to do, but with the staff like at Northwest and all the other colleges around the state, I have no doubt that we can lessen that number and make it a lot smaller than it is now. But we've got a lot of work to do, but with the support of people like Dr. Heindel and the team there at Northwest, we can do it. And I appreciate you so much.
Great conversation, great information. We appreciate your time today, Beth, and for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much, Gary. It was my pleasure.
We'll grab you soon because you and I. We could have continued this another hour. I know we could.
Oh, we could have.
There's
yes,
no
I was
doubt.
trying to think of what we could talk in that amount of time, and it was difficult. But anyway, I hope I covered what you wanted.
You did. You did perfect. And in fact, look for me to bother you again to get you back on to discuss things in the education department. Okay.
Absolutely, I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth. Beth Little with us. Started in adult education, as she said, in 2009 at NWCC. She has now taken over in the entire state as director of adult education and SHED. Good stuff there. If maybe you tuned in the middle of that and you missed some of the adult education discussion we just had with Beth, remember podcast form coming up a little later this afternoon. You'll be able to go back and listen to each and every word. That was really good stuff from Beth. We'll take a pause. We'll come back, and we will now discuss Northwest Golf. Teams are back playing again. First time in a while. We'll speak with Coach Ryan Brickley after a break.
Thanks for listening to the BankFirst Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on SuperTalk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the BankFirst Ranger Hour.
It is the BankFirst Ranger Hour. 20 minutes left to go on the program. Beth Little was great, wasn't she, talking with us about adult education and also Family Literacy Week in the state of Mississippi. Now we'll move into the world of golf. Coach Ryan Brickley's been on with us before, right after, I think, getting the job coach correct and talking with us about golf and how you were going to build the program. We welcome you back. How are you?
All right, thanks so much, Gary. Yeah, I believe it was about a year ago, right before the Ryder Cup was getting ready to go, that we spoke the last time.
That's correct. That is correct. And so we're back, and now the season has started. So if you don't mind, tell us about building both the men and, for the first time ever, a women's roster and what that was like, Coach, to go get these players that you have at NWCC.
Yeah, it was certainly a lot of fun, but also a challenge. But it was a lot of fun to get around to all the local high schools and watch lots of the matches, as well as the state tournaments last fall, and kind of get to know lots of the coaches and as well as the up and coming players. And so it was a little challenging to identify some talent, but and certainly on the boys' side, there's lots of teams and lots of players that are interested in trying to move up to the next level. And so we ended up with a roster of 13 kids total, with including walk-ons, almost all from Mississippi at some level, with a couple exceptions. Got one from just outside of Memphis, and then an international player from Thailand. But it's been a lot of fun to watch them grow and begin to compete here at the college level. That competition on the men's side has created a lot of good golf, but it's also put a little pressure on them, which is good and exactly what we need in order to see them develop into college players. On the women's side, was not nearly as much of a pool of players in the class of 24, so we ended up with just 5 players to fill the roster, and they've started to develop very nicely. We've got one player who was probably a little bit better than the others right out of high school, and she's proven to be our kind of the leader on the girls' side, and finished second in our first Ranger preview, or the fall preview for the MAC conference just this week over at Tunica National.
So as a coach, every coach has their expectations and what they want and how competitive you want them to be. And it is year one, and we understand that. I think first year since 2016, 2017, if I'm not, I hope I'm right on that, on the men's
Correct,
side.
yep.
And first ever for the ladies to play. What were your expectations as far as putting these teams together? We want to be competitive. We know that. That's why they're playing this. They're playing this to be, of the best of their peers. And so as the coach, as the leader, Ryan, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Gary, that the competitive side, as much as we want to win and that element to any sport that we're trying to coach, had to put that a little bit to the side at first here with building these programs, and primarily, to focus on these kids and recognize that out of this pool of student athletes that, our goals are to, number one, get good grades in the classroom. Let's advance ourselves and potentially put themselves in a position to move up to a bigger school, to a four-year school, and possibly play at the next level. But all of that, is secondary to getting acclimated to the process of being in school and being away from home. And certainly with a young group like this, a freshman, that process, you have to be very careful with expectations. And so, on the men's side, the expectation is that we're going to compete and certainly and find out kind of who the best players are and give us an opportunity to get out there and move up the conference ladder, if you will. But ultimately also to make sure that these kids are making it to class every day and are focused on the things that are important out off the golf course. And certainly on the girls' side as well, that's even more so because just with the beginning of the program, we want to make sure that we set a good standard for the future athletes that are coming and continue to recruit so that we can build, not only just the quality of the program, but to get the number of players that we need in order to create that competition. And the group that I've got, they all have fantastic attitudes. One of the things I have always told people is I recruit on character, and then we teach the skills from there. And so building them up into better golfers is certainly one of the things that's on the list, but ultimately helping them achieve whatever goals they are and helping them become the best version of themselves is really the goal of the program at its core.
And then, for the women in their first event in history, I guess as a team, they finished second in this fall preview. And is it Callie Figueroa that you were mentioning as on that girls' side, because she was the second highest individual as well?
Yes. Callie came to us from California, from Bakersfield, California, and part of that, the lure here was that her sister is enrolled at Ole Miss, but her mother was her high school golf coach. Her father also is a coach, a football coach there. And so she certainly, from a competitive standpoint, had a little bit more experience than the rest of the players. And, not to put expectations on her, but I think she's capable of being one of the best players, in this region at this level, and certainly has helped the other girls to, just with their games and little things as far as how to practice and how to play. She's been a great leader so far, and I'm certainly excited that she played well in her first event and certainly can continue to get better. And again, be a nice foundation and a building block for our women's program for sure. For
the players, men and women, after this first event, which was Monday, Tuesday, right, at Tunica National,
Yep.
Have you been able to talk to them since, and what has their mood been like, right? Is it more excitement now that, the next time they go hit the course, which I guess is late in the month, but still that opportunity to get back out there now that they've kind of gotten back into that swing, so to speak, and they're now back out there. You get what I'm trying to hopefully
absolutely
bring to light?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were, I think on the men's side they were a little disappointed with the way that their scores were, but for the first event there definitely was that excitement that you talk about. It was, they had fun, and then after the round they're all talking about, had the terrible hole on this one, and kind of going through the rounds and the opportunities where they could have done better. But we certainly are very focused, and we're back at it today. We'll be out to practice, and we're really going to focus on more the mental aspects of the game, because physically in golf, anybody that's played it at a decent level knows that the skill set and the practice that you put in on the range to hit good shots, and to make the physical skills and to hit chip shots and putts are relatively straightforward, and that process of improvement, through practice can certainly get better as you go. But in competition and learning to play under pressure, how you prepare yourself mentally and what you think about and how you process your thoughts on the golf course are probably as important, if not more important, than the physical part. So that's where we've got a big opportunity to get better. And so we're actually going to be out there here in just a few hours and get after that and start to work on those things to just become more relaxed, more confident, and more focused when we're actually in competition.
The people hear me talk about Tunica National every day on this program. Tell us about the track. What was it like this week?
Well, it was certainly a difficult test because of all the rain that we got over the weekend. It was, and the maintenance staff out there, they do a fantastic job to get the golf course ready on an ongoing basis. But particularly with all the rain on Sunday, just to get the golf course playable on Monday morning for the tournament was a fantastic job by them. But it played even longer than it normally does. Particularly for the men. They moved the tees up just a little bit, but at the collegiate level, we still play basically all the way back, and it's a long, difficult test, even when it's dry and you're getting some rolls. So you took that away a little bit with the amount of moisture that it took on, and it made it even more challenging. But we have a great rapport with them. The practice facility out there is just outstanding. We are very fortunate to have that at our disposal, and it's been a great partnership so far with Tunica National and the general manager David, their sales manager Caroline. They're all fantastic to work with, and so using that practice facility is certainly a big plus for our program, and they've been great to us.
Thank you for that. Saves me from doing the little live read and me making up some stuff in a room in a studio somewhere. Now the people can visualize it a little bit better, Coach. I appreciate you being on. Good luck in the future events, and we'll catch back up again.
Absolutely, great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That's Coach Ryan Brickley with us, golf coach. So they get off and underway. First time since 2016-2017 for men to play, and for the first time ever, the ladies get started. Women finished second in the team competition behind East Mississippi. Tunica National, golf and tennis, tunicanational.com. All right, we finish a Thursday, September 19th edition of the BankFirst Ranger Hour in just a few.
Thanks for listening to the BankFirst Ranger Hour, your connection to Northwest Mississippi Community College on SuperTalk Mississippi 93.7 and streaming live at supertalknorthms.com. Just click on the link for the BankFirst Ranger Hour.
Thanks for being with us today. Two great guests. We thank Coach for being on, talking about the golf programs as well. A short time left with you, so let's get into a few more things, and then we'll move you on into the day with Gerard. I mentioned the soiree is coming up. The Northwest Community College Foundation officially announced the date for the soiree. The event will be March 29. We need to go and put it on the calendar. 6 o'clock at the Heinl Center for the Performing Arts. The third annual soiree, which benefits students at NWCC. Last year, this event raised over $130,000 for students to help with scholarships and things to help their education. Formal event this year, the theme is Masquerade Among the Stars. I am sure we'll be speaking on that before March a couple of times to get you ready for the soiree and the big fundraising event that, again, raised $130,362 for Northwest students a year ago. On Tuesday, the number 1 ranked Northwest women's team beat number 2 Jones 2-1 in Ellisville. Allie Sifford, freshman out of Flowood, scored the go-ahead goal in the 80th minute, broke the tie, and gave the Lady Rangers the win over the Lady Bobcats. 6-0 for Coach Beatty and company. 1-0 obviously by winning that first conference game there against the number 2 team in the country. Next up for the Lady Rangers is a road match against East Central tomorrow. So number 1 Northwest knocking off number 2 Jones. They continue to roll 6-0 for the women's soccer program. The Mississippi Association of Community Colleges Conference, that's a ton to say, right? MACCC has named Layla Dyer as the Offensive Player of the Week in volleyball and Kaya Coleman the Defensive Player of the Week. Dyer's a sophomore setter. She led the Lady Ranger offense in a clean sweep of Champion Christian College and Spurgeon College last Saturday, 62 assists in 2 matches. And then Coleman is a middle blocker who had 9 total blocks in the 2 matches. Her season total there is a team leading 47. They have a match that they'll be playing out on the road today. And then the Northwest football team is back in the national polls after beating previously number 8 East Mississippi 33-14. Northwest is back into the NJCAA Division I football rankings. In the latest polls that came out on Monday, The Rangers are number 14. Mississippi Gulf Coast is the highest of the state schools at number 4. Colin's number 9. Jones number 12. I think those two teams play tonight, in fact. For Northwest, it's Coahoma. Thursday night, Tigers 0-3, 0-1. Kickoff in Clarksdale, 6:30. Pre-game coverage, 6 o'clock on Ranger TV. You can find out everything in the world about Northwest sports, NWCCRangers.com. That's it, friends. Show done. Thanks, Beth Little. Thanks, Ryan Brickley. Thanks to you that listen and those that are a part of it in all the many ways that you can be on this program, whether it's the Tuesday, the Wednesday, today's BankFirst Ranger Hour, or tomorrow's Roberts Wilson PA High School Sports Hour. Let me tell you what we have going on there before we get out of the studio here. We will get into high school football with two of our coaches again. We are scheduled to have Coach Brooks Oakley from South Padola and Coach Nick Nestor from Lake Cormorant on our program coming up tomorrow. And Jay Thompson is going to come in studio. We'll follow up on some of the high school stuff. We'll get into the college world. We'll recap what happened with Northwest tonight. All the fun that is sports comes your way tomorrow on this show. Middays next for the next 3 hours. Stay here on Super Talk's home in North Mississippi 93.7. I'll talk to you tomorrow at around 9:06.
Now the time has come for leaving, fear now we shall return. We were so glad we could make it, but so sad we